Hey, Maria, back with another video. It's 11:48 a.m. Sunday morning, November 24th. Been up for a while. Been getting some things done, and I'm okay with that. I wish I could move myself faster, and but I do have a lot of time. I do experience a lot of thinking, when I'm doing things, and thoughts pop in my head, and memories start coming back, and it starts to make me sick. Literally, it makes me sick. As you know, I have dealt with being a trafficked person for a very long time, and it has taken its toll on me. I do realize that my family has made decisions for me that I obviously are not in my best interest. And my ex-family, which I am very glad to say that. So I resent that, obviously, but and I still hold firm on the fact that I'm never going to forgive them, and I choose to sever ties. It's better for my well-being, my mental well-being, to do that. And I say, I have made a video a few days ago about, work, and I think when you experience this shuffle about type stuff with your work, and then you find out that it is a manipulated system, and you see the corruption and how easily it can be accomplished, you lose respect for that. And so it's not to say that I know that working is important, okay? But I look at it this way. You know what? I will get by. I have skills. I will figure my things out. When I have the time to, okay. But for now, I'm dealing with it, and I choose to not focus on that. I personally think that I have a lot of skills and a lot to offer, but why give that to an employer who is never going to be in a position to appreciate it? I understand how the system works, okay? I do understand how the system works. I remember having a conversation with the arrogant farmer, because when you are doing any kind of study, you read all these different things, the way they present the employment sector, as if people really do believe that if you do this or you work hard, you're going to get rewarded. This is like the equivalent. Even people who have master's degrees believe this, okay? And then they get out into the working world, and guess what they're confronted with? Well, then you don't have enough experience. It's always something. The key is that you have to know powerful people, oftentimes. And I don't know any. And I do. The ones I do know, they got wrapped up in this sort of thing. And I'm okay with it. So, you, in life, you can't put your faith in things outside of yourself. Anything that is not of your own, it's not really worth putting in the extra time. I've seen people work. I remember this one lady. She was an African American lady. She worked her ass off, and she had this attitude that her job was everything. Her job was absolutely everything, and she would experience miniature strokes at work, okay? And she did everything she could to hide the fact that she was having these little miniature strokes or seizures at work, because she wanted to hang on to her job more than anything in this world, And I'm looking back at these people that I used to know, and I'm thinking, why? It is an abusive system, and I fully understand that. So I'm okay with that. I'm serious. And this is not me. I understand that when you're dealing with this sort of stuff, you are up against something that is impossible. It is impossible, especially when you know that here are the regular jobs that are for everybody else, and then they have these better jobs that people would like, and they don't necessarily have to have the skills to fulfill those jobs, but they'll get those anyway, because there's always that political, religious favoritism, whatever. It's in place, okay? And people need to feel blessed or whatever. I don't know, but you know what? It's not worth it. It's not worth it. It's not worth. I wonder. I mean, that lady who I was talking about, who would sit there and hide her strokes and then leaning against walls, and it's ridiculous. Okay, it's ridiculous. It is not worth it. Putting yourself in a situation like that for what? It doesn't make any sense to me. So, and yeah, I mean, I honestly, truthfully, I do love working. Okay, I love working, and I hope that going through life, hopefully I will find something different than where I am now. Because chances are I'm probably always going to be in an environment that's not going to be really equivalent to what my skills are. Okay, because that's just how the program works. Okay, that's just how it works. Okay, and I fully understand that. I'm probably going to be either socially isolated, which at this point, the more I think about it, maybe that's not such a bad thing. And the reason why is because why would I want to have to deal with the idiotic behavior that I had to deal with before? I don't want to deal with it. I really don't. So whatever. I mean, I really don't care. So my family made decisions for me that were not in my best interest. Okay, they would set me up on these jobs, or they would control the job in some way. Okay, and it has never benefited me. So, and understanding all the things I've experienced in their selfishness, their competitiveness, I have lost trust in these people, and I decided to cut ties with them. Okay, which I will be following up with formalities on that issue. Okay, but for now, I want to make it clear. My family my ex-family, they do a lot of thinking for me, and I think they are overly concerned about image. They're very concerned about image, and I can understand why, because this is a very judgmental world that we live in. Okay, and so I believe that they had arranged it so that it would be difficult for me to actually create a relationship or have a friendship or relationship with Stephen Lyles and other people for that matter. And the fact is that, and because of his mental disability, and I'm going to say this right now, okay, I didn't give much thought to Stephen Lyles in the last few years. I really haven't, because I figured, we never communicated and we didn't talk. But now that I realize that he's been around, then I say, you know what, I would welcome that. And some people might say, well, Maria, some people might say, well, Maria, what about the fact that he's mentally disabled? When I look at a lot of other people, and I've said this before, okay, there's a lot of people who just aren't quite right in their head. I don't care what other people think of me. I don't care about what other people think. I don't care about fame, fortune, status, because you know what? I understand the system is never going to allow you to go as far as what your potential is. They're not going to do that. They're not. Okay? And so I don't care if people look at that as weird, because, that's the last thing I care about. What I care about is my own individual happiness. That's what I care about. That's it. Because you can like people and you can bend over backwards, you can try to impress them, but, and the more you so-called impress people, even whether it's intentional or you do it inadvertently, the more they're going to sit here and try to compete and do stuff like my stupid sister. Okay. So I don't really care. I just want to live my life and be happy, especially for the next few years of my life. God knows how long I have on this earth. I don't know that. So if he wants to see me, then I say, you know what? Let him come see me. And I don't care. I'm not trying to hold down some image for, I will never represent the Gordon family. I will never represent them. If they want a representative, then they can use Tanya, they could use Lisa, they could use Rashawn, they can use those people. Okay. That's their family. They could take pride in who those people are. But I personally will never want to associate with those people. Okay, you do not speak for me. You don't make decisions for me. You don't try to control my life. Okay, so it's more than outrage with these people. It's just, I literally get this feeling of revulsion when I think of these people. Okay, and I know that, my family does things like, for example, I do believe that my family must be incestuous, okay? And I know I've talked about this before, and I know a lot of people are, and it's basically kind of a accepted thing among people. Kind of, it is, sort of. Not for me. I don't like it, whatever. But I believe that my brother is, and I believe that my sisters are. And that's their business. They can do whatever they want, okay? I don't want that. Okay, and I find them utterly disgusting, and and they were trying to continually force me into a marriage with Joel, knowing that I didn't agree with the situation with his mom. And so I think Joel considers himself married to his mom. I don't know how that works, okay, and I don't care. All I know is I was abused when they allowed him to take over my employment and not say anything. Okay, so my family does things that are extremely abusive to me. That is abusive to infiltrate my space. It's abusive to get involved in my employment. It's abusive to expect that I'm going to live out your life, your ideas of anything. Okay, especially without trying to tell me, and then trying to use the public to mold and shape me into the direction that you want me to be because you're too cowardice to do it in front of my face. So with that, I don't care. You know what I mean? I don't care if people remember me when I die. All I care about is the present moment and how I live my life now. Okay? Yes, I want to do great things, okay? But sadly, those great things are not going to be done in the workplace. They probably won't. And I'm not grieving that anymore. You know what I mean? I was more upset because it's like, here I've been doing these jobs for the last 2 years, and then I've started to look for another job. I'm like, okay, well, then obviously you're going to go for what you've been doing. So all these years I've been doing that. Nobody was giving me, telling me what was going on. And then I find out my family has been doing this, and there's no way in the world I would forgive them for that. I won't. So if Stephen Lyles wants to see me, the door is open. Okay? The door is open. He can see me. And I welcome that. You know what I mean? I welcome that. If he wants to see me. And I don't know what goes on in the future, what's going to happen in the future. Okay? I don't care what other people think. And I know that because he was hanging around or whatever, my ex-family was trying to make it seem as though something was wrong with me. Like I was getting tested, even though I had worked all these jobs since 1997, I was constantly being tested and all this other stuff. The thing is, I had no idea that he had a mental disability. Okay? But from what I can see, like I said, most people do. I would rather be in a relationship with a person who has a mental disability, okay, that he cannot help, than be with some arrogant assholes who are abusive, who knows better, but wants to be that way anyway. So that's my decision as an adult, which I have the right to make. Okay? I will never stand for the Gordon family. Yes, I have the Gordon last name, okay? And when I think of the Gordon family, I think of my father, because I really did have a deep love for my father. But I understand that the whole family has an issue. They're not what I want in my life. So it's cosmic flesh time, okay? If I want to see or be friends with anyone, that's my choice, okay? And I know that I'm dealing with surveillance. I don't know if I'm dealing with surveillance here. I don't know, okay? But I know in the past I have. I know that I dealt with, the same time exit in entry with certain times with neighbors or whatever. And I've dealt with idiotic comments. And, I haven't dealt with that in a while because the entire town's aware of the fact that I know what's going on. And that I know what's going on. So, I don't care, really. I'm just trying to live out my life, the rest of my years, because life is short. And I want these rest of my years to be nice and or comfortable, and happy and do things that I haven't done in my life, and that's what I choose to do with my life now. I don't want to, and I think my family might look at it like, well, you left your ex-husband, Joel, or whatever. Yeah, I did leave Joel because Joel knew what was going on with my employment. Joel, was abusing me when I confronted him about the situation, and I didn't like his attitude about it. Okay? Especially if he's going to have a relationship with his mom while all this stuff was going on. No, I don't want that. You know what I mean? And so you got my sister who probably gets benefits or some sort of exchange from that family or whatever. Let me turn the AC on. Whew. I keep getting hot, keep getting cold. And, my sister Tanya, to me, is someone who is the epitome of mooch. Like, she mooches. Like, she would never be strong enough to say, like, I remember when I was working back in 1997, okay, there was a lady who would come around my desk, and we would go out to lunch every once in a while. And I now look back, and I think that this person was in connection with my sister. And I remember ex-sister. And I remember she was telling me, she's like, she would say things. And now I'm putting two and two together, and she said, wow, I can't believe you had a kid on your own. If it were me, I would probably get married and have someone take care of me. And I think those were actually my sister's words, and they probably conversed about this issue many times. I have a strength that my ex-sister Tanya doesn't have. You know what I mean? I would, she's the kind of person, she wants to latch on. Like, she's trying to latch on to me. She's trying to latch on to me. I don't want the woman. I don't want anything to do with her. You know what I mean? She crossed the line. Her husband crossed the line. All my family crossed the line because you don't do these sort of things behind my back. You don't take advantage of my skills and then loan me out to people. You don't tell me who I can and cannot see. Okay? And you do not spread rumors about me and then expect me to, be friends with you. We can't be friends. I was telling this sweet lady I was talking to on the phone yesterday, and I'm very glad that she gave me a call. It was quite a pleasant conversation. But she's a mature woman, and I just told her, I said, what, if I ever saw my ex-sister again, I don't know what I'd do. Someone would have to hold me back. Seriously. Okay? And I'm a law-abiding citizen, so I don't want anything to do with these people at all. Okay? And so I think my family has tried to put stipulations on the situation, like, well, she can't see Stephen until she becomes a Christian and blah, blah, blah. You don't tell me how to live my life. You don't have the right to say when relationships get formulated, when they do, how they do, whatever. If Stephen wants to come to see me, he can come to see me. And if he and I click together, then we will progress in that relationship how we see fit. Okay? I am not the kind of person that likes to live my life out on the outside. You know what I mean? But I'll tell you what, if someone was kind to me and sweet and caring to me, I would have absolutely no problem walking down the street, holding hands with that person, and I could give two shits what anybody thinks about it. Because I'm not somebody like, my family who thinks that, I'm going to be rubbing elbows with important people. I'm not rubbing elbows with important people. I'm not. I'm not going to sit here and be in the clique or the, having associations with higher up people. I'm not. And I will tell you, what some of the higher up people or the unique type people that I admire would probably be doing the same thing as I would be doing. Meaning that they might be successful in certain things, but they are going to have a little bit of a different outlook on life than people like, the farmer, people like Karen and all these other people, okay? And no offense to Karen or anything like that, but I'm a different person, and I acknowledge that, okay? So it's not to my benefit for someone like me, who is different, who does have different views, to sit here and try to cultivate, close friendships with people who are the complete and absolute opposite of me. And no, I cannot sit here and try to change myself because I would hate every minute of it. What am I going to do? Sit here and pretend to be something I'm not for a few extra dollars in my pocket? What difference does it make if you hate your fucking life? You don't. You know what I mean? So my family thinks, you know, they don't know how to think. If they think, they think for themselves, and they try to impose their thoughts onto me. I understand that there's social, you know, ramifications for what you do, okay? Based on who you associate with and all this other stuff. I fully understand that, okay? But I'm not going to associate with people that I look at, and I'm going to tell you what I feel. I'm more ashamed to be associated with my family than I would ever be associated with somebody who has a little bit of a mental disability. Okay? Obviously, he's not that bad off, you know? And I see people like, there's this one guy at the store, I see him all the time. And, you know, he knows how to count and everything, but I think something might be wrong with him. I see people all the time. There's things that are wrong with a bunch of people. And, you know, when you have somebody like myself who has a higher level intelligence, it's not likely that you're going to be partnered with somebody who has a high level of intelligence. Okay? And if you're going to be a partner with anybody at all, especially with someone like me who's, you know, spends so much time by themselves. So I don't care. My choice in relationships progress on my own, how I want them to. It is not for anyone to tell me who I see or whatever. And if he wants to, you know, and if he wants to see me, then see me. Okay? I don't care about social backlash. Obviously don't. I don't. I mean, I'm not saying that people should do things to be defiant or whatever. That's not what I'm saying, because that's not defiance. That's just living your life. I'm just saying is, why should I sit here and try to change my entire life, right? So I can associate with people like, I don't know who my family seems to think I should be modeling my life after, but we could use people like, you know, people who are fairly established, right? As an example, like for example, the CPA person, okay? You know, other than dealing with basic business transactions, like for example, you drop something off, you say good morning to your boss, you know, these sort of things, these light everyday interactions with these people that are considered higher up, right? That it's not going to go any further than that. I'm not going to sit here and go on vacations with these people and, you know, I mean, I don't know what my fucking family thinks, okay? But they have these unrealistic expectations of a basic fucking office job, okay? Which tells me that these people are very ignorant. They're ignorant, okay? To create a production show to where they feel as though you have to have your house under surveillance, they're going to title, you know, you getting the ideal job as a blessing. It's not a fucking blessing, okay? It's a fucking office job, period, okay? And it's like, my family, my ex-family, they are ignorant, okay? So I don't care, okay? I don't have to be a manager, okay? Because I just don't have to. I don't have to be one. I don't. You know, there was a time where I felt like I should, because it's like, well, I was doing this, and this, and now it's like, okay, whatever. You know, I understand how it works, okay? I sadly understand how the system works. I went through my process of grieving. I went through this sadness, and now it's just like, well, you know what? The world is pretty screwed up, so I don't care. You know? I don't care. You know what I care about? Is my last few years here on this earth, which are going to be very, very short. And why I say that is because, you know, time goes by fast, okay? Even if I live to be 75 years old, that time speeds by so fast. I looked at the calendar and I was like, God damn, it's like the 24th already. How? Who put fast forward on the calendar? It's like the year's almost over. You know, time goes by too fast. And I'm sad to say that I spent my time over at the farmer's place, that I wasted my time over at VIPO. That place I felt it everywhere in my body. It was a bad experience. Why? Because it had these people that I don't love in my life, you know, creating problems. And this is it. So where I am right now, I'm giving myself time to figure out what I'm going to do. Okay? I know how to look for work. I know weird shit goes on out there. I know it does. But like I said, I'd rather deal with that shit than have to deal with what I dealt with, okay? My family has abused me to the point where even thinking about them makes me ill, okay? I cannot deal with them anymore. I cannot deal with them. So I have become sick because of them, Okay, meaning it creates a trigger response of revulsion, anger, depression, whatever. So I don't want them in my life. Okay, and I am not going to sit here and be forced to follow rules as to who I can and cannot see, what I can and cannot eat, what I can and cannot wear, who and how often I can pray. I'm not going to do that. Okay, I'm not. I will be flipping the bird till the day I die. I am never going to sit here, and that's not defiance. I am basically standing up for my own rights. Period. So, Stephen wants to see me. Come see me, Stephen Lyles, if you want to come see me. And you know, I'll deal with bullshit. You know what I mean? Because I'll probably have to deal with some sort of stupid comment from somebody out in the public sector if I do something, because that's how the system works. And God forbid somebody says something to me, because I will shred their fucking ass apart. I'm done. I am fucking done. Anyway, I'm going to wrap up this video. And I'm going to go ahead and work on my projects and be back with another video some other time later. Take care. Bye-bye.